I'm going to give you a little bit of a review of our 845R Gator that we just got a couple of months ago. I'm going to tell you why we got it, why we upgraded from the 835M HVAC, and I've already noticed several improvements. I want to make sure I point those all out to you. I'm not sure if I found any disadvantages as compared to the 35M HVAC yet, but we'll go through that along with all the new toys that we're going to put on the back of it. Let's get started. Now, the number one reason that I wanted the 845 over the 835 is the bed. I would say 80% of the value that I saw in this upgrade was in the bed itself. It's a wider bed so that I can actually take a 1025R bucket and dump it in from the back. Now, I could never do that before with the 835. I found that to be frustrating, right? I mean, I had a machine that I could take a couple bucketfuls and haul somewhere, dump, and could use it as a kind of a transport vehicle for dirt, but there was no way to do so. I mean, it had the power dump and everything. I just wasn't able to utilize it very well. Now, the other aspect of the bed, Dave and Bobby are working on here, is that we've got a bunch of attachments that fit on this bed that didn't fit on the earlier bed. So we're going to be showing you those, going through this whole pallet full of stuff, I think, is going on there. And I just think it's going to make it a lot more utility friendly. So it'll be easily removed when I want to use it as a dirt hauler or a rock hauler or whatever. But in the meanwhile, it's going to be utility to haul other things up on the side of it. Looks like you got a 5-gallon bucket holder there, Bobby.
No, it was a toilet seat. A
toilet seat? Well, I suppose it could be.
Depending on your 5-gallon bucket, it could be.
Yeah. Never know. When a guy's got to go, he's got to go. What do you got, Dave?
A basket. It's oh, my bad. It's a fuel can holder.
Okay.
Jerry can holder. I suppose this would be a basket.
That's a basket.
That's a basket.
Now, I'm just going to say it. I don't think all these goodies are going to fit in the bed here.
No, but they're all supposed to go on the bed, so.
Yeah, we got to put them somewhere, don't we?
For now, I'm setting them there, and then I suppose we can put them back on the pallet after we get it all unboxed.
Well, I'll put the toilet seat here too, then. What's that called?
Beverage cooler holder. We are going to need that.
Yeah, we're going to need it. I have a tool holder, I think. Let's get the official name.
Okay. Let's see, they're officially calling this a tool rack.
Yeah, so you can put shovels and
different kinds of things.
Yeah, and you can mount this horizontally like this, or you can take these off and move them and mount it vertically if you want.
Interesting. And I guess I'm assuming at some point there's something to go along the back of this thing, right?
It's all magic.
Okay. I'm looking forward to a headache rack.
As long as you're not just looking forward to a headache.
I'm sure there'll be some of that at some point.
It's like Christmas morning, isn't it, Bobby?
Yeah.
Now that thing's something you'd like to have.
What is it?
You figure it out yet? It's not a toilet seat.
No.
Now is that helping? It's a chainsaw scabbard.
Yeah, okay.
The first kit we're going to install is going to be this Artillian UTV bed-mounted toolbar.
I'm going to raise the bed, Bobby.
And first step of that is to take this off. So one of the bolts we get to there has to come from under here. You just had to dump it high enough to drop my instructions, Dave.
Well, I was trying to demonstrate
the dump bed.
The dumping capacities of it, yes.
Yeah, so it'll dump 3 pages of instructions, no problem. This bar here is an option. It's not standard on even the R model Gator. But when I was buying, the only one they had available had this on it, so I took it. Dave thinks it's pretty cool anyway, I don't know. He likes that crossbar. I didn't really care too much. Now, when I'm talking about liking the wider bed. I talked about being able to put in a dump in it from a 1025R, but that's not my number one complaint about the narrower bed. I'll go over here to show the difference. I don't know if I've got video of it, but with the narrower bed, even on just a little bit of mud, just a little bit of wet road, this entire strip was just covered with mud. The wheels just threw that up there. And to my knowledge, there was no option for any flared fenders down here on the wheels or anything to protect that. And I just don't have that problem at all with the wider bed. So you can see that we've been in the mud, even getting out here today. It's a rainy day and we just don't have that problem anymore. These are really hard to get to. You can't even get a wrench up in there.
No.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, you see how deep that is?
Yeah, and yet a socket won't fit up in there. And then a socket doesn't fit in here easy. So we've got these swivel sockets.
And I'm sure there's a John Deere tool that fits this perfect. Oh my goodness.
You got her.
I'll get them all, just...
Only 7 more left. So you got that bar off while I was gone?
Yep, got the bar off. Bar was 2 bolts per side. Screws, bolts, whatever you want to call them.
Those are Torx there.
These are Torx. The ones on the side were Torx. Everything on the bottom side has been Torx. And then
this will just come off.
Yeah, with a little bit of...
Look at that. Oops, we got a cable there.
It did not tell me to disconnect that, but I can. Let me, I got...
We may not need to. We might be able to just...
And then there was more at each one of the bolt holes here. There's a Torx bolt going through, Torx screw, Torx bolt, whatever you call it.
Okay.
Going through there as well.
It's interesting to see how this bed's actually constructed. It's all one piece. Reminds me of my Honda Ridgeline, Dave.
Wow. This has still got more towing capacity.
You would say it's got more coolness factor.
It definitely does.
Dave's never liked my Ridgeline.
That's not true. That is not true. I don't like your Ridgeline as a pickup truck. I have no gripes about it as a
Grocery getter.
utility vehicle. Like, I understand that some people don't need a full-size pickup, but everybody wants a bed. I get that. I'm all about that. And that vehicle's fine for that. But it does not compare to an F-150. It does not compare to an F-250.
Yeah, that's right. It rides better than either one of those rigs and gets a lot better mileage than one of them.
True, but if you're looking for off-road capability or max towing, it doesn't fit.
No, it's not a towing vehicle, really. I mean, we've been able to tow. It's rated at 5,000 pounds.
Right.
If you got a 1025R or a Gator,
It'd pull that.
And a small trailer, you're all right. And it's a pretty good compromise in that sense. But no, it's
But that's not what it's intended for. And so I have no problem with it. In its intended purpose, it's perfect, but you cannot substitute that for a pickup truck.
Like a dream.
Rides like the minivan it was based on.
Dave, that's pretty substantial.
It's a nice solid piece.
We thought we were just having little brackets that would just attach on these holes right here.
Yeah, we're looking for this. Yeah. Not all of that.
Does it line up with holes?
Yes, it does. So there's this big round hole up here. That's the alignment hole for this, and you're supposed to line it up there. And then the little square pockets that are going along the bed rail, they've got bolt holes going through. And I believe, looking at the instructions, we'll have a nice piece that goes up through here and bolts everything down. We are going to lose the top rails.
Yeah, but that's okay. We'll have the protection there. I was afraid it was going to be like Johnny Cash, you know. Went to put in the bolts and all the holes were gone.
Yep. So they got a nice big bracket here that's got a welded on nut, and it's been shaved to fit the ribbing inside of the bed for that. This is the structure of the bed, what gives it its strength. And it's designed to fit up in there real nicely. And it's got some angles on it to give it some rigidity as well.
Yeah, but by distributing this, that's where you get your an enormous amount of strength. So this thing's going to be built a lot tougher than what I first thought it might be.
No, I think this is going to be pretty solid.
Now these rails just fit right in here. Artillian has this same system for tractors. They mount this bar, this same exact bar, maybe a different length, I'm not sure, between the rear ROPs of the tractors, and you can attach all the attachments that we showed at the beginning with these little attachments here. That bar goes right up in here, and then this just pinches it right down, okay? So all these different attachments can fit on there, not all at the same time, right? But that's the versatility.
I think that we'll be able to get all of the attachments on this Gator once we get our hoop in.
Bobby, I think that toilet's going to be kind of hard to reach.
Yeah, be kind of hard. I give up the...
You're thinking about it wrong. You sit in the bed and off the side.
Oh, you sit right on the bed. Perfect.
Yeah.
Just had to think it through.
Yeah.
When you get 88, it's hard to get in the bed, though.
True. Well, that's what fork truck's for.
So there's an example with 2 items on it. They do need to be on the outside, although once we tighten this up, Dave, it'll sit at a little bit of an angle.
A little bit.
So putting them on the inside probably won't work.
I bet you could still make it work if you wanted to.
Probably could. I think it was designed to be just on the outside, but
probably.
Yeah.
This is a tremendous amount more storage. I mean, because putting it on the outside allows you to store a lot of stuff out here, but still use the entire bed.
That's the point. See, the entire bed space is available to us. Now, see, these even fold down when they attach, when you tighten them up. So your entire bed space is available to you with this configuration.
Yep.
Let me tell you a little about some of the changes up front from the cab forward that I was looking forward to on the 845. The first thing that I was hoping for based on what I had read from Deere was that it was quieter inside. And I believe that's true. I don't know exactly why, although I know there's one reason. I have had the 845M HVAC, and it did not have any insulation back here behind the seat. It did not have these panels here. There's one here, and then it did not have the top panel here either, right? So I think adding those panels has helped to improve the quietness inside. I can't say it's quiet by any means when you try to accelerate. It's kind of loud inside, but it's much quieter than the 835. Now here's something I didn't expect. The transmission behaves differently. It's much less aggressive. When you press the throttle, you can much more easily go slowly, even in high gear, without it going faster than you want. On my 835M, it was pretty sensitive, right? I pressed the pedal and it went pretty aggressively. I prefer the way this works on the 845. It's significantly smoother, such that I don't use low gear at all now. I did use low gear some in the 835, but on the 845 I don't. I'm not saying I never will. Obviously, if I'm going to be pulling something or have a load, or maybe pushing snow later, then I probably will use low gear. But for just buzzing around the yard here, I run it in high. It's only got two gears, and then it's kind of a CVT, I think, from there. The longer you hold the throttle, the faster it goes. Next thing that I was interested in, that wanted for an upgrade, was mirrors. I didn't have mirrors on the side or in the rear view on my 835M HVAC. I believe the later 835s, at least the Honor Edition that we had, I'll talk more about that in a minute, but it had the internal rear view mirror, I believe. I could have got those upgrades, but they were going to cost a good bit of money. And by that time, I had heard about the 845, and so I decided to kind of hold off on that. Hey, Dave, is this plumb?
It's not square.
Is it level?
It's not straight, but we'll get there. We left everything loose so that we could adjust it later.
There you go. I think you got a problem, Dave.
What's my problem?
You got yourself built. You built yourself in there.
I've built my own prison.
Yeah, you're a permanent part of the Gator now.
Oh yeah. At least it'll be a comfy ride. Maybe. Well, I think while I'm up here, you start handing me attachments and we'll hang them off of here and we'll just see if we can get everything that they sent us on this. You were all excited about these, Tim. Do you know what they are, though?
Well, I thought that these were just so that I could make my own. Pull that one off so we can see it. I thought it was so that I could make my own items to hang on here. And I probably still could do that, right?
You could. There's definitely some options there, but what they're specifically for and what they're intended for is to load securement. So
okay, so if I had one piece of pipe, I could slide that way over here.
Right, exactly. You'd slide that up till it's nice and tight, and then just crank that thing down. And you could, if you wanted to, put a bungee over the top of it. But the idea is it limits the piece so it doesn't roll instead of it smacking across in here.
Yeah, and I've got 2 sets of those, one for the front, one for the rear.
Yep.
Well, guys, there we are.
Everything but the kitchen sink.
I think we could fit the sink. It still can go in the...
True. We have not filled the bed yet, technically.
I wonder. I wonder if I could actually dump a 1025R bucket load in there without taking the stuff off the top.
That's a good question. With the little small bucket that I had on there, we absolutely could.
The 49-inch, I believe we could.
Yep. And I bet that it'd still fit a pallet of stuff.
Yeah.
That's a lot of storage now.
Now the question is, will we ever use it like this, fully configured? I'm not sure we can get in our garage door in the front of the house.
Probably not with the stuff off. Right. It's too wide. You'd have to move the Sienna, flip them.
Yeah, Sienna would have to have its own single car garage.
Yes.
We could use a double car garage for the Gator.
Absolutely. But I think this is well set up for the Half Century of Progress show.
Oh yeah. But hopefully we go to the Half Century of Progress later this summer. That's where everybody runs around in their utility vehicles, and it's a free-for-all. I think you have to pay like $60 to get your utility vehicle in there, but then you can do whatever you want. You can run around over anybody, anywhere. And I think everybody's there to brag on their own utility vehicle.
Well,
so,
we are going to be the talk of the town in this big
you know what
area.
we need? A flagpole. We need a flagpole mounted to this with a big
I'm pretty
American
sure
flag.
we could come up with something.
You strike me as the "Don't tread on me" flag guy.
That's a definite yes. Don't tread on me. And then I prefer the Komatsu flag. If they tread on me, I will tread on you.
Oh, okay. What do you think, Bobby? You need one of these?
I ain't got nothing to work on. Probably wouldn't fit my Polaris.
Well, you can trade that for a Gator.
I reckon I could.
Yeah, I reckon you could. Let me talk just a moment about how we acquired this Gator. Through a good bit of horse trading, I actually traded for this Gator for nothing, for out of pocket for me. And that is because of YouTube, but it's not because of John Deere. So let me explain a little bit more. Well, first of all, we had an 835M that I've talked about in this video.
Right.
And we've partially sold it, partially donated it to your father-in-law.
Right.
Actually, not him personally, but the mission in Honduras, His Eyes Honduras.
Yep.
So it's going to Honduras, right? It's still sitting outside right now, but it's going to Honduras.
Waiting to get loaded on a container.
Yeah. So that's a situation where it was partial donation and they paid partially for it. So that's an aside. But how we got this thing for no cash out of pocket was the other Gator that we had. Okay, we showed you videos of it maybe 2 years ago with the tracks on it.
Right.
It was an 835M Honor Edition, and I think it had like 4 hours on it. We used it in Colorado only for that video.
2 videos, wasn't it?
2 videos, yeah. One was the installing of the tracks though, so.
Yeah, same thing.
We tried to sell it via Facebook Marketplace while it was in Colorado, so we didn't have to drive out to get it.
Right.
No luck.
Yep, had to drive out and bring it home.
Drove all the way out, brought it home. It was Christy and I enjoyed our trip. We drove 2 different directions, through Nebraska on the way out, through Kansas and Missouri on the way back. We had a good time. About a week after we got home, I get a call from someone in Laramie, Wyoming, or just outside of Laramie, Wyoming, less than 15 miles from where we had the tracks put on. And he said, "Is that Gator still for sale?"
It is now.
It is, but it's in Indiana. Believe it or not, he sent one of his hired guys out.
Yep.
All the way from Laramie, Wyoming, took it back to within 15 miles of where we had the tracks installed and within 90 miles of where we actually played up in the snow that time. And so that's where it is now. So we also added, we had the tracks on it. We added the snowplow that we had from Curtis. We added a couple of extra attachments. The fertilizer spreader that was really high end.
Right. That was an actual John Deere spreader, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a John Deere spreader, and then the highest end attachment we added was this sprayer.
Right.
And it actually sprays depending on your speed, so you could slow down or speed up, and it was a pulse width modulated PWM sprayer, such that if you slowed down, it sprays less. With all of those attachments, which yes, we got those over the years via YouTube, we were able to sell that Gator for exactly what we put in this new Gator without all those attachments. I felt like we had shown those attachments all we needed. We prefer to use the tractor attachments anyway, so we may get a snowplow yet for this one from Curtis again, but this way we get to see the 845, get to have the features that I've talked about. So I'm excited about the upgrade. A lot of you have been talking about how we're anti-Deere now. Well, I just bought another Deere.
True.
Right?
True.
So I don't think that's very anti-Deere. If you are the guy that likes to have 100 keys on your key belt,
This is the Gator for you.
this is the Gator for you. I mean, this really strikes me as the guy who wants to have every accessory known. And I actually think that we're doing it here to demonstrate the variety, and we will use some of this, but we won't have all of this on all at one time. That's the flexibility. You can also use these same bars on tractors. We've got them on the ROPS of our tractors. You can also mount them on the wall in your shop if you want to just take them off, put them in your shop. If you're interested in purchasing any of this stuff here or seeing the prices of it, it's available in the configuration of the Gator itself. So it's even though it's Artillian product, it's sold through Deere. And so you go to the build your own for the Gator, and then you can select all the pieces that you might or might not need, all those accessories, and you can see the prices there. And so you purchase it with your Gator. You can buy it add-on as well, I suppose, but you can purchase it with your Gator to get exactly the pieces you want. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this, and it's been fun for us to have kind of Christmas Day here. Don't you think, Bobby?
Yeah, it's been fun.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim. And whoever does not carry their cross and follow me cannot be my disciple.